9:05 on the Chad Hasty Show, News Talk KFYO. It is campaign season. Did you know that? That may have gotten lost in literally everything else going on in the world, but there are candidates who are running for office seeking your vote. And joining us on the phones this morning, one of those candidates, Douglas Freitag, candidate in the Republican primary runoff for the 140th District Court. Douglas Freitag, welcome back to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Appreciate you having me on this morning. Thanks, sir.
Absolutely. We do appreciate you coming on. And I know early voting gets started very soon in this runoff race. Kind of talk just a little bit, I guess refresh listeners because, boy, it seems like the election was years ago. I don't know about for you, but for me, it just seems like it was so long ago with so much happening. And probably not a lot of people paying attention to, Republican primary or even Democrat primary runoffs right now. Refresh people a little bit about yourself and why you're running for the 140th District Court.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely right. It's been a long time getting here, longer than I think any of us had planned when we started this journey several months ago. But early voting is going to kick off Monday, June the 29th, and we'll run through July the 10th, Election Day, July the 14th. I'm seeking election as the next judge in the 140th District Court here in Lubbock County. That is a general jurisdiction district court here, handles all kinds of felony criminal matters. Also, there's family law, civil law, that sort of thing. Quite often you'll hear folks talk about, well, that is one of the criminal courts because of the local agreement that they have here in Lubbock County. But I actually reached out to the Office of Court Administration a couple of weeks ago just to get the breakdown. And as of June the 8th, almost one out of every four cases pending in there is not a criminal case, but it's some type of civil or family law case. And if you look just at 2020, just over right at 32% of the new filings have been non-criminal cases. So almost one out of every three for 2020 has been either a family or a civil law case. So while we call it a criminal court, it certainly does a lot more than that.
And so what would you bring to that court? And I guess for primary voters, let's be honest, what separates you from your opponent?
Sure. Well, it's what I bring is what separates me from my opponent. I bring a perspective of somebody that has been in the criminal realm, both a prosecutor and a defense attorney. So I've represented the state, but I've also represented the individual and ensured that the rights of the individual are protected. In addition to that, I've done family law work where I've represented both moms and dads in child custody cases. I've represented both husbands and wives in divorce cases. I've done adoption cases and those sorts of things. And I've also done civil work where I've represented businesses where, things have gone bad and we've had to bring a lawsuit against somebody for not paying us. I've represented business owners where things didn't go the way they had planned and somebody's brought a lawsuit against them. And so I've seen a little bit of everything as far as that goes, and that's what separates me from my opponent. He is a career prosecutor. He's never done anything else, never had any other clients other than the state of Texas for anything that he's done. And that's really what separates the two of us completely is one of us has spent our entire career doing one thing. The other one of us has spent our career doing a lot of different things that are going to be seen in this court.
What and this just a basic campaign question for you. With coronavirus that's been going on, with the protests that have been going on. I mean, obviously everybody's attention has been elsewhere. From runoff elections. I mean, they barely even make headlines right now, whereas I think in most years they would be making some headlines and be some top news stories. What have you been doing to try and motivate some voters and reach out to people and how have you been campaigning during this time?
Sure, it's been different to say the least. Back before the March primary, I got out, walked blocks, had volunteers that walked blocks for me and stuff. I personally knocked on about 1,000 doors before we had the March primary. This time around, it's way different. No, not getting out, knocking on doors. I have talked to some people about doing that, and a lot of folks they don't want somebody that they don't know coming to their door right now. If you're following the guidance from the CDC, they sure don't want somebody showing up that's wearing a mask that they don't know at their door.
Right.
So what we've done this time around is we focused more on social media stuff. We have done some things through the mail, just direct mail type things. And then I've sat down, and some volunteers of mine have sat down, and we have made phone call after phone call after phone call and just explained to folks that have answered, normally we'd be out there knocking on your door, talking to you on your front porch, but nobody seems to want us to be doing that necessarily this year, or at least the majority of folks haven't. So we're doing it across the telephone, and that's been very, very well received by everybody that I've talked to so far.
Very good. Tell folks how they can find out more about you and your campaign, and, of course, with early voting starting on Monday, just where they need to go to find out that information about you.
Absolutely. You can find us on the Internet. Our website is my last name, Freitag, Freitag, the word for, so it's freitag4judge.com. You can find us on Facebook at Douglas Freitag for Judge. You can give us a telephone call, 806-370-0373. Early voting Monday will start at the Market Streets here in town and several of the United supermarkets. It will also be going on out in Slayton, Shallowater, Idalou, New Deal, Roosevelt, in Wolforth at the various community centers and stuff in those towns. I don't think I missed anybody going through that list. I don't have it right here in front of me right now. But would be glad to visit with anybody that's got a question or anything.
Yeah.
Give us a call, look us up, send us an email. You can find our email on the website and on the Facebook, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Very good. Douglas Freitag, Republican candidate in the Republican primary runoff for the 140th District Court. Appreciate your time. We wish you the best of luck, and let's visit again before Election Day.
Sounds great. I
All right.
appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That's Douglas Freitag here on the Chad Hasty Show.